everyone, welcome back to Science Never Sleeps. On this very special edition of Science Never Sleeps, we're going to be talking about a brand new exhibit that's going to be debuting on our Fall in Love with Science Day this coming Sunday. So you might remember me, I'm Hadley Anderson, the Senior Science Educator, and you might remember another familiar face. Here we have Scott
Laramore,
thank you. Scott Laramore, who is one of our exhibit designers. On this Science Never Sleeps, we're kind of delving into how science gets to become part of our public exhibitions. And one of those things that happens is that sometimes we get a grant. And in this case, we got a wonderful grant from the Hawaiian Electric Industries Charitable Foundation. And that allowed us to build something called the Land, Sea, and Sky exhibit, which Scott is very, very familiar with. So we're going to delve into a little bit about how our researchers, collections managers, and our exhibit designers all work together to help deliver amazing content in these vivid exhibits here in the Science Adventure Center. So, Scott, can you tell us a little bit more about what we did for Land, Sea, and Sky?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the notion once we get a grant, this occasion from Hawaiian Electric, we don't have a blank check, but we can often do more than we could internally, and so we're able to dive really deep into content. So our researchers that are on staff here start doing what they do, which is research, start to develop how these ideas might manifest themselves in the form of an exhibition to convey this information to our audiences. From an exhibition design standpoint, we can start taking more liberties with the types of interactives we can create, the types of graphics we can create. The scope of the exhibition in general is enlarged thanks to this sort of funding. So we work really close over the course of maybe 4 or 5, 6 months sometimes. This exhibition that I was a part of, I was mostly involved with the snail portion, the land portion. Mm-hmm. It took about 6 months to develop all this, so it's funding a lot of energy here in this museum to create that. Mm-hmm.
Now, what are some of your favorite parts of this upcoming exhibit that you helped to create and design?
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of the banners that you'll probably see in our background here, right? Our graphic designer, who's part of the exhibits team, Susan Yamamoto, has designed both the banners for the birds portion and for the molluscology, the mollusk section. And so they tell a really interesting story. For the snail one, it's about telling this Mauka to Makai story that you can find a mollusk at the top of these mountains and in the sea. And so we're telling that story in these banners. And then I think all of our interactives are really fun, right? We're trying to develop content that kids can play with and adults can also be edified by, right? So trying to balance who our constituency is based on the types of things we put out there is really, really important. So I'm excited about that.
Well, I know that both our adult visitors and our younger visitors all enjoy the interactive portions of any exhibit that we can provide, and it gives them a greater connection to that. So we want to thank anybody who has ever donated to the BishopMuseum to help fund us and to do some amazing events like this and amazing exhibits too. So if you happen to see a donate button anywhere around this place, feel free to click.
Yeah,
so we can
sure.
bring you even more amazing content and amazing designs and amazing interactives here in the Science Adventure Center and throughout the museum too.
Great.
Thanks, Scott, for
Thank
joining
you.
me.
Yeah.
So we're here with Molly Hagman. She's our vertebrate zoology collections manager, and she had a really big part in developing the Land, Sea, and Sky exhibit in our Science Adventure Center. She was doing the sky portion. Molly, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yep, so we have some birds on display. So we took some of the elements from the birds exhibit that we had on display in the Long Gallery from 2015. So we have some of the panels, and we don't have any of the extinct bird specimens on display, but we do have some skins of birds that are invasive and still present in Hawaiian forests. And then we also have an iPad where you can listen to Apapani songs, and we also have another screen where you can test your knowledge of which birds here in Hawaii are invasive and which birds are endemic.
Now we also have on display a very unique project.
Yeah. So there's a master craftsman in Japan. His name is Haruo Uchiyama, and he has spent his life doing woodworking. And so when he was a young man, he started carving lifelike birds, and he takes a very scientific approach. So he came to the collection here and actually studied our specimens and measured them. And so his project right now is to create a set of the Hawaiian honey creepers for BishopMuseum.
And how many Hawaiian honey creepers?
So there were 57 species, and his goal is to create a male and female of each one, and also to do some that are in flight. So which would be
Oh my
really
gosh,
neat. Yeah.
that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, yes.
I've seen some of them. They're completely astounding and amazing to see. So
Yeah.
you have to come on down and see them. They're really, really beautiful. We only have about 7 right now. Right?
Yeah, so we have 7. So we have 5 on display here in the Science Adventure Center, and then we have 2 upstairs in the collection room for when we have tours up there.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad it's on display, and I'm glad our guests can come and see that. So thank you so much, Molly.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, we're here with Maureen Young. She had a really great hand in working with the land portion of our Land, Sea, and Sky exhibit. So, Nori, can you tell us a little bit more about what that portion of the exhibit is going to talk about?
Actually, our portion is the land and the sea.
What?
So we're talking about malacology broadly, and it's a study of mollusks. So that includes things like squid and octopus that are they're basically in the sea. They're not on land. And of course, we have the land snails. So we kind of join everything from the land and from the sea and everything in between.
That's really great. And we happen to be sitting on one of the things we study.
Yes, we do. This is a Euglandina rosea. It's a bad boy. So it's an invasive snail that has eaten up a lot of our native snails. So on part of our new exhibit, we actually show the teeth of these invasive predators.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we were able to 3D print a model of their teeth, and they're definitely pokey.
Ooh.
And we also have teeth of our native land snails because they're all fungivores, so they're all nice little rakes that scrapes off and cleans off the plants.
So you really get a good comparison up between a carnivore snail versus
A fungivore detritivore. Yeah.
fungivore detritivore.
Yeah.
That's a lot to say.
Yes. So it's like a 3D model, so you can put your hands over and touch it and see the textures and things like that. And we also have a whole nice wall of conservation status of a bunch of native snails that you can find in Hawaii.
Great. Thank you so much, Nori.
Come and visit us.